Hello Content Clubbers, Toby here with a Friday 5. We put a poll out into the group earlier in the week asking you what you wanted help with, and the answer has come back: you want help turning your content into more sales. And quite conveniently, we ran a coffee and content session this morning with about sort of 15, 16 people, and this was one of the things that we talked about around the table today. So actually what I'm going to talk to you about is a reflection of the conversation we had with all of these people today. So I've got 5 things to go through. The first is calls to conversation. The second is the difference between customers, communities and champions. The third is to prepare follow-ups, and the fourth is to think about what platforms you're using. Sorry, I'm reading off the notes. And 5 is to have a plan to present. Right, so let's start from the top. Calls to action versus calls to conversation. So when we typically talk about creating content, we very often say everything has to have a call to action in it, call to action, call to action. If you actually want to generate sales off the back of content, you need to be able to think about what's the call to conversation. So if you are writing a blog post, what questions are you asking in that blog post that then give you the opportunity for the readers to then contact you and follow up with a conversation? If you're posting onto LinkedIn or Facebook, how are you encouraging people to start following up the content that they've read in the comments below, so that you can then engage with those comments and turn them into conversations? Because conversations lead to sales, not just posting content online. So you need to play to your strengths in terms of how you are best placed as a conversationalist in your work, and make sure that your content is enabling that. The second thing is CCC, which is customers, community and champions. So there are these are the 3 groups of people that you're creating content for. Customers, obviously people that are going to buy, so they want to be able to find out what it's going to be like to work with you and what your products and services are and so on. Community are people around you that want to engage and be interested in your content and have those conversations and connect with each other through your content. And then champions are the people that you're going to connect with, and then may then go on to refer you to other people through word of mouth and so on. So just think about those 3 different groups. If it's helpful, think about real people in your working life and try and create a persona based on a real person around each of these 3 things. And then when you're creating content, be really careful and make conscious decisions around who you're actually creating that content for, and you'll find that then the thematic points of that content will then enable a much clearer conversation with the person that you're creating it for. Third one, prepare follow-ups. So if we're creating content for conversations, make sure that you've got prepared questions and so on in order to follow up with. So if you're creating content that's like, hey, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. If anyone would like to find out more about it, send me a direct message on LinkedIn. And then when someone contacts you, make sure that you've got, as a part of that content plan, that you're preparing the, hey, thanks for getting in touch. Yeah, of course. You can find out more about that in the ebook that I prepared or something like that. So make sure that you're not trying to recreate the conversation every single time or start from scratch. Make sure you've got prepared responses if you're going out and asking people to contact you or have a conversation with you on that platform. That leads on to the 4th point, which is think about the platform. So particularly the content platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, these all have direct messaging platforms, direct messaging features built into them. So the most natural way of continuing the conversation in a more private space, if you like, is through the direct messaging platform on there. So if you're posting to LinkedIn and you want people to engage beyond just the comments and so on, it's like, please send me a direct message, or say yes in the comments below and I will send you a direct message with more information or something like that. Same with Instagram. People can send you direct message direct from your Instagram stories. So think about what you're posting in those in order to create that call to action or call to conversation that allows you to use that direct messaging function. You may find that sending you an email or you sending them an email is the correct platform depending on what you're selling and what conversation you're having, but it's not always the one that you should be using. So don't default to people need to fill in a form on my website or I need to send them an email. Think about the platforms that you're using. And the 5th thing is have a plan to present. So this is something we talked about today, and our friend Jules White is a really great sales consultant, and she taught me this concept of making sure that every time that you're going to make a sale, that you present the person that you're selling to with a plan. And that could be as simple as like, we're going to have a consulting call, and then I'm going to show you an action plan of the work I'm going to do, and then every month we're going to measure my successes against that plan. Simple as that. But if people can't visualize and imagine what it's going to be like to work with you from a structural point of view, they're not always going to necessarily have confidence in your products and services enough to the point of actually buying it off the back of content. So make sure that you've got that plan prepared. And again, much like the prepared responses bit, make sure that you're not recreating it every single time. You know, have a landing page on your website or something that you put into your content that you can just repeat over and over again so that you're not recreating that message each time. Okay guys, I hope that was useful. The most important thing with this is that likes don't create sales, conversations do. So make sure that you're using every single piece of content that you create as an opportunity to then move towards a sales conversation, rather than just posting endlessly and then getting frustrated because nobody buys anything. Okay guys, lovely to catch up with you over video. If anybody would like to come to our training course on the 24th of January, we've got a full day content strategy course, which is sort of a bespoke course for business owners that have to manage their own marketing. Send me a direct message and I'll make sure that I send you some information about that course. Other than that, have a really great day and a lovely weekend, and see you soon.